Hey everybody on YouTube, this is Mr. Pokemon Away, and today I'm doing my top 5 best and worst of 2018. Now, I know it's been a long time since I've done this. I told you before that I was going to do it on another day. Today's the day. I was actually thinking about this one for weeks. I was thinking about which movie or which game I could put up, whether it's good or bad. But I managed to get the list down. So now here it is. I actually started making one on my GoPro, which I got for Christmas. It's a GoPro Hero 7 Black. I'll take it out of the box. So here's what it looks like. Still in good condition, and it still works if I could turn it on. I think it ran out of battery, but I'm gonna recharge this. Post any ideas if I should make GoPro videos if you're into that. I need to see some likes or comments whether you want me to use this camera, because I could be making a trip down to Wisconsin Dells on the duck rides, or probably going into the water, and I probably could use this camera. So post some comments down below, tell me if you want to see this camera in action, and I'll take it out there. And don't worry, I got the bolt and charging cable for it. Alright, but on to the countdown. So first up, I'm going to talk about the best of 2018. I wanted to go for 10, but I didn't feel like I didn't really see much of 2018. So I'm just narrowed down to 5. I think 5 is probably the best because it gives me less options instead of more options, because I rarely saw anything in 2018. I mean, I know a lot of stuff from 2018, but I didn't see what people usually go for. I just usually go for other stuff. Anyways, let's start the countdown. So first off, we're going to talk about games, and I got a whole bunch right here to talk about. Ranging from God of War all the way up to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And one of them is my preferred game of 2018. So let's kick off the countdown. Sorry, I'm stuttering. Just need a glass of water. Alright. Clear my throat up a little bit. Alright. Coming in at number 5 is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. This is a good Pokemon game for the Switch. So it's basically an adventure with any Pokemon, whether it's you got Pikachu version or the Eevee version. A lot of people choose the Eevee version. I don't know why, but I think it's come to that Eevee's a powerful Pokemon and Pikachu's the less powerful one, but I usually just pick any Pokemon game because usually they're both the same game, it's just different. It's just a different Pokemon. But anyways, not really good game. Really great game. It's compatible with either the Joy-Cons, your phone, or the Pokeball Plus, which is actually a pretty cool feature, and I often use this while I'm playing the game. It's not that comfortable, but it is pretty nice to hold. It's got this ring right here where you could slit your finger through it, and you could just control it by using that. Or you could use one of the Joy-Cons, whatever game style you prefer to play this game. But it is a great game if you're a Pokemon fan like I am. So it goes on number 5. Number 4. So number 4 goes to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, why is this ranked on the list? I'll tell you why. But first, let's talk about the pros. The pros is that this game is fun. It has an adventure mode where you could get all the fighters you need It's called the World of Light. The World of Light is the game's own story mode, where these two spirits, or like, it's these two spirits called Galim and Darklim. It's something like that. But they managed to capture up everyone that's on right here. They captured everyone except for Kirby. Kirby is the last survivor right there. So basically, you could call this like Super Smash Bros. Infinity War, if you want to call that, because it's just like Infinity War. In fact, now I think of it, it's like Infinity War and Endgame combined into one. And yeah, they even show the fighters in here, as well as the game right there. And then I'm gonna put this in. All of this is just a receipt from when I got the game. And it's also a pre-order for MK11, which I am going to do a Let's Play of. So, yeah. The pros are that the graphics are good, the gameplay is good, and all the controls are good, and the characters are good too. That's the pros. The cons... Alright. I know a lot of people are gonna talk trash about me, about the cons. I mean, not to say that the game's bad. No, the game is great. It's just that there are a couple of problems that I have while I was playing through the story mode. Now, the cons are, there are some hard-ass levels in this game. One in particular is the Dr. Wily stage, where you gotta, like, play... Okay, so there's Mega Mans. So you might be thinking, oh, you gotta fight Mega Man. No, you have to fight Mega Man like a couple of times, and he's all in silver, but they really brutalize you at that level. I mean, any fighter you choose, whether you're good at it or not, that level is going to give you the most pain you ever had in your life. Probably even more bad than the Poly stage. And then other stages could take you like long time to get used to, or any other stuff. But overall, that's just my cons about the game. Overall, great game for the Switch if you love Super Smash Bros. If you're a big fan. So that's for number 3. Let me see. So that was the Nintendo Switch games that I showed you. So this one's 5, this one's 4. So now it comes down to these PlayStation 4 games. So which one is the best? Which game is the best? So let's see. Number 3 is Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, I really didn't play this one much because I had to go through a lot of games, a lot of time in school and work, so I didn't have enough time to play this game much. If you wonder what that sound is, it's just my Xbox saying that it's just not recording stuff, which is, I'm just ignoring it. Anyways, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great game. I was really surprised that it did not win Game of the Year. No, it did not win Game of the Year. And I was surprised because from all the reviews this game had, I thought for sure that this one was going to win Game of the Year. But surprisingly, it didn't. But overall, really great game. Great graphics if you have the PlayStation Pro. Unlike me, because I don't have one. But anyways, great game, great graphics, great story. Everything about it is pure fun. Alright, for round 2, for best game. So, number 2 goes to God of War. Now, God of War won Game of the Year. This game basically beated Red Dead Redemption 2. And hold on, I'm actually using my TV so I could produce more light, because if it wasn't light, it would just get like a dark screen on me, and I really don't want to show a dark screen over me. Anyways, God of War is a fantastic game. It pushes the PlayStation's graphics to a mind-blowing level. I mean, the graphics in this game are great, and it's also PlayStation 4 Pro compatible. Santa Monica Studios did it, as well as Sony themselves. It's more like a father and son story, like Kratos as a kid, and they're going on this adventure about the giants. And they uncover bosses along the way. I really didn't get to any further much into the game. I'm just mainly focusing on the main story while avoiding some of the other side missions and stuff because my throat's getting dry. Sorry about this. So like I was saying, side missions, I really don't do them because I just want to see what more happens in the story. But overall, pretty good game. So, right now you might be asking, what game could top these three, let alone God of War? Well, for number one, for my game of the year, I had to pick this game for number one because this game holds a special place in my heart. Back when I was a kid, I was a huge Spider-Man fan. I grew up with the Tobey Maguire's trilogy, and I also saw the Mark Webb trilogy. It was good too, but my main passion was the Sam Raimi trilogy because it had memorable characters, a great suit, and one of the greatest villains ever in a superhero movie, Doc Ock. How could you not beat that? But as soon as Spider-Man Homecoming came around, that is when I basically was like, it wasn't bad, but it was in my mind. I was like, what the hell are you doing? But anyways, I had some fun with the movie, and I know I said before that I hated the movie, but right now, since I saw some things about it for the second time watching it, my hatred started to decrease from the movie. So, I'm more liking the movie right now before I started hating it, but yeah, so I know it's really confusing, but I actually did have some fun with the movie, and I cannot wait for Far From Home because that looks like a mind-blowing movie. So number one for Game of the Year, well, my Game of the Year goes to Marvel Spider-Man. Fantastic story, fantastic graphics. Once again, PS4 enhanced with the Pro. It's done by Insomniac Games, who done the Ratchet and Clank series. And also Spyro. But great game with a great story. And probably one of the best graphics I've seen. It has every suit in the game as you could think of, even including the Sam Raimi suit. And not to mention, there were 2 more suits added to the game from like the Fantastic Four books. But other than that, great game. This is definitely my Game of the Year winner. But other than that, this is just my pick for Game of the Year, so if you don't like it, go watch another video. So that was all the good stuff. So let's talk about all the bad stuff. And boy, there's a lot of bad stuff that I like to cover. Including one big one that I'm saving for the end. Because it's so bad, it basically left a scar in my mind. So let's kick it down, shall we? So number 5 is Resident Evil Biohazard on the Nintendo Switch. So Resident Evil Biohazard was a great game. So seeing it poured over to the Switch is actually a pretty good look. I mean, a Resident Evil game on a Nintendo system after all these years. So this was pretty interesting. Little did we know that it was a cloud version, and therefore if you were playing the game, it would stop at certain points and it'll send you all the way back to the beginning. Not to mention, you have to pay for it, and then you could continue on. I mean, wow. Talk about a great game that was ruined by such... But it was ruined by a port. But don't get me wrong, Resident Evil 7 is a great game, but the Switch version is just a bastardized version of it. And it's a game that no one, or a version of a game that no one should play. Number 4 is Metal Gear Survive. Metal Gear Survive is more like a spin-off game in the Metal Gear Solid series. But it's more of like a zombie game. Now, people grew up with Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid is a growing franchise, but after Metal Gear Survive, I don't think the series has any much potential in it no more after this one. Because I think they basically ruined the series. Even when Konami fired Hiro Kojima, the original creator of the series. And therefore, Kojima made his own studio called Kojima Productions. So he owns that studio. So maybe he could make a new Metal Gear Solid game, and Konami probably must have lost the rights or something. I'm not sure what's going to happen to the Metal Gear Solid franchise, but hopefully... Oh my god, my throat. my throat gets really dry if I talk too much. But anyways, hopefully a new Metal Gear Solid game will see the light of day, and it will probably wash out Metal Gear Survive. God, I hate that game. I never played it, but I seen stuff about it, and it just looks absurd. Number 3. One of my favorite shows was Ash vs. Evil Dead. That was my all-time favorite show. Even when I first got into the Evil Dead series, it was actually pretty good. But in 2018, Stars, the channel that Ash vs. Evil Dead was running, had to make the most boneheaded move and cancel the series after Series 3. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. So Ash vs. Evil Dead has been getting less and less viewers than before. Therefore, it was mainly the reason for its cancellation. So 2 more shows filled in that gap, like shows like Vita and Sweet Bitter, which received tons of feedback. But overall, Ash vs. Evil Dead was a great show. I wish it could last long. But the bad news is that the actor that plays Ash Williams, Bruce Campbell, made a statement that if the series get canceled, he would completely retire of the character. And when the show canceled, he retired as the character. So, yeah. Not to mention that it was actually a Kickstarter project. So, tons of money down the drain for that. Only for a cancellation for a great show. Yeah. Number 2. For number 2, it just has to be that, yeah. See what I was talking about with that black thing? It makes me look like I'm in the dark or something, so that's why I put in the light. Number 2 is that Laurel and Yanny game where you first hear it's Laurel, and then over that you hear Yanny. But it's so confusing and it's really annoying. I mean, how many times can you hear the same thing while it's so confusing and it's stupid? I hate the game. I think every person hates the game. So that's why it's number 2 on the spot for worst. So you might be asking, what other bad thing out there could be worse than all them stuff? Well, hold on tight, get ready to cringe as hard as possible, because I'm going to show you one of the movies I went to go see that actually traumatized me. No, not traumatized me, ever saw. No joke, one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I've ever saw. And that movie is none other than Holmes and Watson. This movie is awful. I mean, really awful. You know how bad Jack and Jill is? You know, Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler? This is on the same level. The comedy's stupid. Everything's stupid about it. I don't want to even have to dive into detail about how bad this movie is. This movie is as equivalent of watching two drunk guys making silly things, well, like doing that. I mean, how would you like to look at that for 2 hours straight? I mean, I would rather watch two drunk guys drive a car crashing into people. I would rather watch that instead of watching this pile of garbage. So yeah, there you go. That's number 1 for worst thing ever I saw in 2018. I hate this movie. Everyone hates this movie. This movie is garbage. What do we do with garbage? Well, we find the nearest trash can and we toss it out. End of story. So, that wraps up my best and worst top 5 of 2018. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more videos coming in the future of 2019. And hopefully I don't see no more bad movies after Holmes and Watson, because right now I feel like that I had $20 stolen from me. This movie stole $20 and 2 hours out of my life. And I cannot get those hours or money back. Have a good day.